YouTube, how we doing? It's Matty B. Welcome back to the channel, and as always, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We're back with another Supercross post-race review from round 15 in Pittsburgh. We're down to the nitty-gritty in this one, and we had Cooper Webb with an unbelievably clutch ride, brought to you by my new channel sponsor, ASV. They make some pretty unbelievable clutches too. We have the 250 East Series continuing to tighten up. I didn't even think it was possible, but now we got a winner-take-all showdown between three guys headed into the finale. And before I get too much further into this, I want to give a shout out and a big thank you to the broadcast crew and Lee Diffie. I know the dude's been coming under heat this year. I'm not going to sit here and give you a dissertation on how good of an announcer he is. I just want to thank him for actually mentioning Jerry Robin. I've been kind of bummed that there's been some organizations that haven't really said anything about him in the last week, but huge thank you to Lee Diffie for saying something on live television about my boy Jerry Robin. And again, still thinking about you, J Rob. And in my last video, I gave you guys a bunch of ways on how to help Jerry directly. And Jerry sent me a screenshot of just some of the things he's received in the last couple of days. And I can't thank all of you enough for supporting and banding together to help one of our Moto brothers in need. It means a lot to me, and I'm not even the one in the situation. I know he really appreciates it. So thank you all very much. I'll have links in my description again on how you can support Jerry Robin and his road to recovery. But thank you all for that, and thank you to my channel sponsors who help keep this channel going.
QuickMoto.com. Use my code on screen for 20% off of some graphics and more. Also, Sirius Studio. I'm now a partner in the company, so anything you buy on their website using my code MB820, a small slice of that goes to me. And lastly, my boy AJ is doing a Tesla Model 3 giveaway.
I've got all the info in my video description on how to enter, and check him out on X, YouTube, and Instagram at AJ Writes Crypto.
To start off, some thoughts about the track going into the weekend. This was one of my favorite layouts of the year. It had a lot of promise. I really liked some of the creativity and some of the obstacles. We had the really big split lane. I don't think we've seen a split lane like that since like the early 2000s, whenever they used to do extreme split lanes. Had plenty of options in the rhythm sections, tons of 180 corners. I don't think there was a 90 within 3 counties of that place. And how about the dang Dirtworks SMX track crew, whatever they're called? How about their ability to work miracles? Like, send these guys to Africa, because next thing you know, there'd be nobody on the whole damn continent that'd be hungry. These guys turn nothing into something weekend after weekend, and it's just crazy to think this whole Northeast swing, there's only been one real mutter out of the four highly potential mutters. So bravo to the track crew. They are definitely the unsung heroes of these last few rounds. And I touched on this a little bit in last week's video, but I just want to rehash it for anyone that hasn't heard. But we got the new whoops rule that's gone into effect during this season, where they don't want to put any obstacles before the whoops. So they've kind of swapped the whoops and whatever obstacle was before them on these track maps as of late. I think they're trying to keep the speeds down. But just my opinion, I think the main factor in crashes in the whoops is actually how bad they break down. It's just crazy how bad 450s are digging those things out and just chewing them up. And I think if they didn't get all that cupped out and chewed up, I mean, I think there could be 15 of them and people would be fine. And this is just my opinion here, but I think putting the loops out of the corner, these guys are just barely getting enough drive to get through them. And, especially on 250Fs, those guys are probably hitting those loops almost wide open. So that's actually digging them up and breaking them down way worse than if they had actually let them carry some entry speed in. And then you just kind of have to maintain while you're through the loops. So that's just one angle to look at. But again, no matter what you do, it's Supercross. It's dangerous. People are going to crash. I can applaud track changes in the name of safety. I'm just not sure if it's in the right direction or not. But what the hell do I know? Let's get into the results. 250 East with the win, the 7th winner in the East 250 region this year. I think that's actually a new record set with Tom Vial getting the win tonight. And it's crazy. I didn't think the dude was going to get one this year. I mean, there was several laps where it looked like he was kind of just doubling through the loops, but the dude's a racer. Like, that's his biggest asset. He might not be the fastest guy. He might not have this flash and shine. But when the gate drops and when the checkered flag flies, he's going to be there every time. And that's exactly what he's done all season. And now he has the red plate heading into the finale. I really can't even believe it. And I feel like this is super disrespectful, but if he becomes the two-time champ, I feel like he's by far the least skilled Supercross rider to become a two-time champ. But, I mean, that just says even more about how good of a racer he is and how he's really got the total package. I mean, if he dials in his Supercross skills a little bit more, he could seriously be a player in the 450 class. But right now, consistency is the name of his game, and he's using that to get it done. A 1-point lead heading into Salt Lake. No room to breathe, but the plates are the color you want. Then in second, Nate Thrasher. I thought he had that damn thing, and I was cheering for him hard because we're big Seth Hamaker fans in this household. So I'm wanting Seth to bring this thing home, but he just couldn't quite hold off the French force that was Tom Vial. He was the only dude skimming the whoops, which I thought that was going to be, kind of what separated him to get him that win. But he started kind of struggling in him late. Vial came on strong, and that was that. But still a good ride for Thrasher. And this dude's all over the place, man. Like he could win, he could get 10th, he could get 18th. You really never know. Just roll some dice and take your guess. Then in third, handbrake Max Voland. I think this is actually his first podium, so congrats and bravo to Max Voland. Obviously, they're making this big deal out of the handbrake because it's something new and pretty unconventional, but just my opinion from some experience of using a handbrake on a Stark Varg, I would almost venture to say that it's not a disadvantage at all for Max now that he's probably got it figured out. I don't have experience with a clutch and a handbrake, but he's had enough time on it now where he's probably got the muscle memory dialed in, and I would almost be willing to say it could be an advantage in certain circumstances. And it's clearly not holding him back because he got his first podium. So great job to the Club MX team, and they wrapped up SMX next. I thought Alex Fedortsov was going to have to try and try again until 2029, but he got her done. Then in fourth, RJ Hampshire. He had himself set up to go into the finale with the red plate, but he had that crash late, little cross rut, and smash into the tough box national. But it happens. RJ gets loose, and I feel like it's kind of a miracle that he's even still in this thing. Every interview I hear him talk about how bad his wrist is and just how bad he's struggling. So I think he's just trying to limp it to the end of this thing and maybe pull it off and then get another surgery and get that thing fixed. So it's a bummer that we haven't seen Rick at full force, but honestly, it's probably just made this championship even better. Then in fifth, Seth Hamaker. Oh my gosh, that dude needs to buy a lotto ticket. He bounced off of 29 riders within the first three corners, and there's only 22 out there. So it's an unprecedented stat. Cannot believe he made it through the first couple of laps. But really, once he started to reel it in, that was a really good ride. The only thing he could have maybe done further is catch RJ at the very end, but I think RJ poured it on strong. That dude's not going to get tired. And now Seth, RJ, and Vial are all within three, headed down into this finale. So if any of them win the main, they're the champion. And if none of them win the main, that's where things get dicey because then some spots are 2 points per position. Then it goes down to one. So it all kind of depends on where they're sitting in that final race. But it's going to be a showdown, no choice. Quiet sixth for Chance Hyman, a solid seventh for Cullen Park. He's really been having a good year. Besides that second place in the mud, I feel like he's just been under the radar, but he's really been solid and really been putting in results. Eighth for Henry Miller, another shout out for my guy Simonson. I think this is his second consecutive ninth place this season after coming back from injury. I don't think the injury recovery necessarily went how he was expecting. I think he had expected to be back in action a lot earlier, and I still am actually not sure if he's even ready to be out there. But he knows he's got a good chance on a good team. He just wants to go out there and at least try to prove himself and give himself a chance. And really, for all things considered, I think this has been an awesome return to racing for him. So great job to Devin Simonson. Top 10, I think this has got to be a career best for Bryce Shelley. He hasn't had a great year, but an awesome way to turn it around with a 10th in Pittsburgh, followed by Isaiah Clark in 11th. I believe it's also a career best for him. He's a great dude, a hard worker, and I love seeing my boys get career best. It's not all about first, second, and third. These guys are out there putting their lives on the line, working as hard as they possibly can. So 11th for him tonight might feel like a first, and that's okay. Congratulations, Isaiah Clark. It's a solid accomplishment. 13th for my boy HVAC, Justin Rodbell. I think the guy should have been on the 250 for a while now, but he probably knows that. I don't even need to tell him, but solid ride nonetheless. 15th for Faulkner. We saw the A-Stars airbag blow up live on TV, and it's definitely not been a year to write home about for Austin Faulkner. I can only imagine it's got to be really hard to go out there and perform. He's really close to Jerry Robin, like maybe even closer than I am. They live out in California together. They see each other all the time. So I can only imagine that wasn't easy. So props to him for, even trying to put that behind him and getting back out there. And then in 19th, I want to give a shout out to my boy Jumpin' Jack Rogers. He made his first main event of his career last weekend. I didn't really do a review. I did a Jerry Robin video, so I didn't get to shout him out. But he went back to back, baby. Scored himself a 19th. He's got himself some points. You are ineligible for 30 plus at Loretta's. Great job, Jack. Now into the 450 class with the win, the dog, Cooper Webb. I kind of had a feeling this was going to be the week that he would shut down Chase because, he's been on the ropes. He's gotten beat a few times in a row. He's been pissed during the week, and he doesn't want that points gap to be down to a must situation in Salt Lake City where he's got to beat Chase. So he finally gave himself a little bit of breathing room tonight. And that was a damn ride. Like, I feel like he didn't hardly put a foot wrong. There was lappers everywhere. It looked like the damn 91 freeway out there. And he managed to bob and weave all the way through there. And that was what a clutch performance looks like. And just like that, instead of it going down to 6 points, had Chase continued to streak, now Cooper stretched it to 12. And hell, he doesn't even have to get second anymore. He can get third in these last two rounds if Sexton wins them both, and he'll still be your champion. But it ain't over till it's over. Second place, Chase Sexton. You could see the look on his face after that race. that he knows what an opportunity had just been squandered to try and close that gap even more. And especially when you get down to the nitty gritty this late part of the season, these 6 point swings are huge. And don't even get me started on all the numerous swings that Chase had earlier in the year. So I feel like this is kind of the one that's getting away from Chase Sexton, but that's what Cooper Webb does. Coop knows that about Chase. He knows his tendencies and he knows what to capitalize on. And it looks like it's all going to pay off for him. But all Chase can do is go out and try to win these last 2 rounds and just hope something goes on with Cooper Webb. And you never know. It only takes one little Barlock National in the first turn for everything to get flipped upside down. Then a third great ride for Justin Cooper. I kind of thought tonight might actually be his night where he finally gets a win. And I'm definitely not putting it past him to get a win in these last 2 rounds whenever Chase and Webb are thinking championship. But he was awesome all night, had the jump line and the whoops, and then he was like scrubbing onto that triple on off. And especially his heat race, like that was some explosive stuff from J. Coop. I don't know if I've ever seen any of that out of him. But a spot on the box, never anything to complain about. Who doesn't love box? And now he's gotten himself into fourth in the championship. Roczen in third might be a little bit out of reach, but still fourth in the points after a little bit of a lackluster slow start. I don't think that's going to be anything he's going to complain about. It's been a great season for him. Fourth for AP, a little bit of a quiet night being that his starts were so good. He actually seemed like he was kind of struggling towards the beginning of the main, and then towards the middle and the end, he kind of started to pick it up, which is the exact opposite of how all my races go. So I can't even fathom how you do that, but great job to AP for staying in it and not throwing out that anchor like the dude who's talking right now. And then a come from behind fifth from Malcolm, kind of quiet. I think he got Roczen pretty late, but still also a good season from Malcolm Stewart. He's now moved himself into fifth. Still only a few points off Justin Cooper in fourth. It's down to Justin Cooper, Aaron Plessinger, and Malcolm for that fourth place spot in the points. AP is now a little bit out of it, but between Malcolm and J. Coop, whoever gets fourth, I think that'd be awesome for either of them. Six for Roczen, an unfortunate late fade, and no disrespect to Roczen, like he's such a bad dude. It's just, with all of his injuries and surgeries and all that stuff in the past, I feel like this is just kind of the time of the season where he starts to lose his flair a little bit, get a little bit of fatigue, wear and tear, even traveling every weekend to all these places and racing on the weekends for somebody that's, got a completely healthy immune system definitely wears on you. So I can't imagine how it is for Kenny. He's probably in survival mode by now, but it does look like he's going to hold on to third in the points. Quiet seventh for Ferrandis, and eighth and a ninth for Savachi and McElrath on the quad lock Hondas. And they've really been coming on strong this second half of the season. It's cool to see these guys that are able to stay healthy and that are able to stay in it, even if in a thinner field, still rewarded with good results. And then a top 10 for Grandpa Earl as the fill-in. I feel like that's all they could ask out of him. The dude's on the way out, just trying to do it for the tube. A top 10's what we're looking for. 13th, didn't see or hear from him all day, but Officer Hill, Justin Hill, I just wanted to point out that he is very quietly in 8th place in points, been in it all season, every round, every weekend. And I feel like that's not usually what we come to expect out of Justin Hill. I feel like we've expected a lot of flashes of brilliance, him being kind of in and out, but he's been the consistent, steady force that we never knew we had in 2025. And then finally, a 14th for Christian Craig. I am very confused as to what's going on. I kind of thought the switch back to Yamaha would be just what he needs. The dude is so talented, so fun to watch on the bike, and so good on the bike. So really, if you're asking me, I think it's all mental, from personal experience, even from one year to another, my skill doesn't change, yet my results and my riding do. It's all what's going on upstairs. And things just might not be clicking for him. And starting mid-season, that's always tough too. So hopefully he can turn it around outdoors, but it's definitely been a rough go for the 28. And with that, that's a wrap on what I got for you from Pittsburgh. Let me know in the comments what you think, what you agree with, what you disagree with, what I'm a cooked unit about, and everything in between. But I appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.